Good morning and welcome to Catechism. The first question you're probably going to ask is, what is catechism? Catechism comes from the Greek word which translates into teach orally. Catechism is historically a question and answer process that deal with our faith and the basis of our faith. The catechist, the teacher, would ask the student a question in regards to their faith, and the student would learn and memorize their answers in order to know and express their faith at the time of baptism or at confirmation. Now here's an example of what this looked like historically. Catechist: what is a sacrament? Student: an outward visible sign of an inward visible grace. Catechist: what is the outward visible sign of baptism? Student: water. Catechist: what is the inward spiritual grace of baptism? Student: a death unto sin and a new birth into righteousness. We will be doing some of this question and answer because I do love the historical aspect of catechism, but we will also be going over the doctrine of Christianity, things like human nature, the Trinity, the incarnation, sin, and salvation. We're also going to go over all of our creeds, when and where they were implemented and why, and what they mean. We'll look at the sacraments. We'll explore all 7, and we'll talk about the 2 that are ordained by Christ himself. We will look at the liturgy of the church and the actions of the church, like prayer and worship. We'll explore all of the history, looking at key elements in the history of the church, elements that have shaped our church, like the Council of Nicaea, the Schism, the Reformation age. That's just to name a few. Finally, we're going to talk about our Christian life, including the 10 Commandments, the duty of Christians, fasting and almsgiving, that means tithing, and hopefully we're going to have some fun along the way. So catechism may seem daunting at first glance, but it can be very exciting to see how God has worked in history to preserve his church all the way from the beginning of creation to this present age. And I think the most exciting part about this is that you and I are still part of Christian history. Now think about that. We set the stage for future generations. What we do today is going to affect what happens in the future of the church, just as we can look in our past and see how the church has affected us to this present day. So there you have it. It's a basic description of catechism, and I hope you enjoy the class as much as I do.